Ladies and gentlemen, the play's the thing. With your host, Judy Sleed. Special guest, Michael Wudyka, the owner of the East Hampton Studio. Now here is Judy.
I have a wonderful playmate today. Hello, everybody. Michael, how are you?
Great, Judy. Thank you for having me.
Yes, finally we got you. You're from your busy schedule.
Oh, never too busy. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Oh, that's good to hear. Now, we were discussing, you said you're the owner of the East Hampton Studios.
Right. Yeah, we're actually right next door. We've got 35,000 square feet right next door to LTV. And we have a sound stage. LTV has some smaller ones. We've got a big one. We've got an 18,000 square foot sound stage. We also do some other production, post-production, recording studio, and events, charities, all that sort of stuff.
That's good to hear.
Yes.
Do you also do plays there?
Yes, we've done plays in the past. We've worked with, basically everyone out here, different plays, different events. We also do a lot of catering for charity events and concerts. We had Crosby, Stills, and Nash. And
How can you do catering? I mean, that's food.
well, I said we cater to different charity
you
events.
cater.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Now you could tell where my mind is.
It's right after lunch. It's okay.
Yeah. So, where are you from?
Originally from Detroit, born and raised in inner city Detroit, and my family's over there. My mom and dad were from there, and my brothers. I've got still half of my family there. So
how
from
did you
Detroit.
migrate to the Hamptons? I'm always curious.
Well, and actually 12 years ago, February of '99, my wife and I had wanted to make a different life change. I was in the automotive industry, wanted to do things a little different. We had been to the Hamptons once. My sister had a summer house in Montauk. So we took some time, we flew out. We liked the area, put my notice a few days later, and we drove out and decided, what are we going to do? And we moved out to the Hamptons, not knowing anything about it, and realized there's nothing to do. There's no work here, especially in February.
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah, Candy Kitchen was one of the few places that were only open, so we ate a
So
lot there.
Oh, I thought you said you applied for a job as a waiter.
No, well, I actually looked around for a job. I didn't realize they didn't have really, any industry outside of real estate at that point.
Uh-huh.
So I bought the Bridgehampton Motel for Martha and Alexis Stewart. That was my first purchase in the area, and I stayed in the hotel business. I did that, and I still have. I was up to 5 hotels, now I'm down to 4. I have 4 on.
Where else? What other?
We're in Bridgehampton, Southampton, Wainscott, and Shinnecock. So I'm the largest chain of hotels out here.
How do you like Mr. Hilton?
Oh, not really. They're all small. They're strip motels, anywhere from 10 to 20 rooms. But it's
well,
a good.
still, it's a lot of work, I imagine.
I make beds and clean toilets for a living.
So you must be like going from one to the other to see. You have to see that everything is running
I've got
correctly.
great staff. I've got great staff, and my boys help. My boys are older now. One's in college. The other is a senior in high school. So they help out.
So he's going to follow in your footsteps.
They're indentured servants. Just like I was an indentured servant, they're indentured servants. So no, they need to know business. It's good to actually help instill a business sense in them and a work ethic.
So in Detroit, you were in a car business, you said.
I was in a lot of different businesses. Born and raised in construction. My dad had a construction company in a lumber yard, so I was a licensed builder for over 20 years. Did that. In the commodities business. I bought and sold produce all over the world, and I created my own line of gourmet potatoes called the Princess. I brought in the first Christmas sweet onion called the Oso Sweet Onion. I was in direct mail advertising and radio and life insurance and
oh my gosh,
a lot of different things. Anything to pay the bills.
And it seems like you did well.
Well, I did okay.
And you said before that you were in some movies.
Well, I've done a couple of movies. I just finished something called Pollywood. I sit on a board of the Creative Coalition. It's an advocacy for the arts. Basically, it's a group of celebrities, actors, actresses, producers, writers. We travel all over the country raising awareness for the arts. go to Washington, we lobby Washington, we go to all the different events raising awareness to
And
keep
how
the arts
did you
in school.
happen to be in this as an actor?
Well, it's actually a documentary. It's a documentary with Barry Levinson. We traveled to the Democratic and Republican conventions and also the inauguration. And the whole movie is about basically how Hollywood and politics intermix. And it's Barry Levinson's take on that. So that was pretty interesting.
Well, I think there's politics in everything you do.
Absolutely.
Everything.
Absolutely. Yes. And then I did something with Craig Mowry locally I've done. And I used to do some modeling when I was a little smaller.
You are very good looking.
Oh, thank you. She and I are going out after this.
Yes. Right. So you're in a hotel business,
Yep.
and you own this studio where you do all different things.
Yep. And I'm
And-
actually, on November 10th, I'm on National Geographic. I flew out to Peru, and it's called Extreme Medicine. So I lived in the Peruvian jungle on the Amazon River for 10 days, and I worked with the shaman, which are the medicine doctors, and I tried all the local herbs and different cures. So we ate termite nests, and we ate fish intestine, and all those sorts of
You should be
things.
on The Survivor.
I could do that. I could definitely do that.
Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable all the things you're doing.
I've just been lucky.
You're lucky. Well, I think it's more than that. I think you are looking for adventures, and then you're not afraid to take chances, and you just go ahead and you do what.
Push forward, keep pushing forward.
Yeah, so that makes a lot. How does your wife feel about that?
Well, we've been divorced 7 years, but we've got a great relationship.
Oh.
She's very supportive, and I think it's important. I've traveled all over the world with my kids, and we see the world. We do different things. I've done Ironman
Oh, so
triathlons.
you're
and
not married, so that's
I
wonderful. So
know.
I have a chance, right?
Absolutely. Like I said, we've got lunch
Good.
after this. It'll be good. You're going to see me here more
Yes.
often. Yeah.
Yes. So what is the next thing you're going to do in the studio? Do you seek people out, or people seek you out?
Well, I think now as I'm building the business, I think both now. Some people are coming to me. I'm still going out, being very aggressive. The entire studio is built for the community. We do a lot of different charity events. We do a lot of functions, from garage sales all the way up to, we had Cirque Hampton's, a Circus Olay type act over the summer. We had a Crosby, Stills and Nash concert for ovarian cancer and colitis. We've done a lot of things for the community, and we're going to push out and continue doing more and more of those. So it's the biggest indoor space in Suffolk County. We want to do some plays. We've done movies. We've done Jack Nicholson, Diane Keaton, As Good as It Gets, and Paperman with Ryan Reynolds. So we've done some really good movies.
They were actually using your studio
Oh, yeah,
to shoot
absolutely. We just did something with the Romantics with Katie Holmes. She did a couple of scenes with us. And Barry Sonnenfeld from Men in Black, he was out and did an HBO special with Kelly Preston. They did a couple of pilots over here.
So that sounds great. So
Yeah.
they just come and they pay for the space?
They pay for the space and they rent it, and then it helps build the community. Because let's say we're doing a movie out there, the people use gas and transportation and lodging and food. The whole concept was for me to build an off-season business. That's why I got involved with it. Fraser Dougherty was the initial guy that built it and had the vision. I had got it from him, and having the hotels, I also owned a restaurant, Regular's Music Cafe. So the concept was to be able to bring people here off-season, feed them, lodge them, have something to do and help
That's
the...
an excellent idea, because
Sure.
where would they go?
Right. Well, and that's the whole thing. And we're a New York State tax credit approved facility. So, that's what we're working on, and we've been reasonably successful. There's a lot more to do, but we are pushing it.
I would think that you have a tremendous amount of work with all you do.
That's not so bad.
Not so bad.
Being a dad is the most important thing that I do.
Yes,
Yep.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes. And what do you do with your boys besides work? You go
No, we travel.
kayaking and fishing?
Yeah, no, I'm not much of a fisherman or a hunter, but they're older now. But when they were younger, I coached football, basketball, baseball for 8 years. I coached all their sports, and I was pretty much a stay-at-home dad and hanging out with them, and worked in between while they were at school. I worked, and then spent time with them afterwards.
That's
So,
wonderful.
yeah.
So what other type of acting you must have done? Because you said you were a model.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was
Yeah.
1,000 years ago. But I don't really like to act as much. I do a lot of charity work now, and I also do some stuff for entrepreneurs. So I'm on, I'm at Fox Business. I'm on the Today Show. I do those sorts of things about being an entrepreneur and in business. And when people ask for certain things about the Hamptons, I'm typically on the short list of people to go to. So I do that. And obviously through my travels and lecturing, and I work for the Learning Annex. I do some teaching for the Learning Annex to help people that are starting out in business, give them different concepts and ideas and some support.
That's great.
Yes.
That is great. So you have no aspiration to act anymore?
No. I have my own show. I have my own talk show. I've had it for about 3 years.
Where?
And it's on WVVH television. And
Oh, that's with the Shimizu brothers?
Yeah, Greg and Ernie. So I'm involved with the TV station now, and I've had a show for about 3 years. And I do different things on charities or basically anything that I find really interesting, I'll do a show on. So
when you say you do a show, is it an hour show? You have guests or
I have
or
guests. I do locations. I just did something with the Creative Coalition. We had a book signing in the city last week. I did a show, and then the one before that, we actually did a live telecast, which you were at our party for the film festival, 4th annual film industry party for the film festival, of which you were at. So we did. I did a bunch of interviews for that, and we did a live telecast. Went out to 5 million homes, live telecast that we did, and just whenever I find something interesting that I want to talk about, I'll get on air.
So do you think the Hamptons is becoming one of the places where everybody will know about through all these things that's going on, like the TV shows?
Well,
and,
the Hamptons are known worldwide. It's kind of like the rich and famous playground, and it's for good reason. It's beautiful. It's right outside the city, and we have Cooper's Beach named #1 beach in America last year.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
We did for Ellen's Run. We did a thing there.
Yes. No, it's beautiful. So we're fortunate, and what I'm trying to do, I think the summer takes care of itself, but we're focusing on doing stuff off season. We've got 3 or 4 independent films that are slated to do off season. We've got some charity events that we'll be doing. We did Wings Over Haiti during the off season last year. We also did a business networking night where we brought people from West Hampton to Montauk, brought them all under one roof, and that worked really well. We'll do that again this year.
So do you do any creative writing?
I have a book. I finished a book. It's called The Big Book of Mistakes, because I've made a lot of mistakes. And so I have that.
That's the title of it?
That's the title of it.
The Big Book of Mistakes.
Yeah. It's basically short stories about different things in business or in life of mistakes that I've made, kind of a tongue-in-cheek look at life. So no different than, you've somebody
How
tells them
big
something.
is it? How thick is it?
Well,
1,000 pages?
Oh, no. It's only about 120 right now. But it's set up for contributors. So I would ask you, tell me some mistakes you made in life and how you would help somebody get through, and we would put it in a certain category.
Oh.
So I have that. And I do some art, I do a little bit of painting and those sorts of things. So just fun stuff. I don't really take any of it too seriously.
When you said the title of that book, when I was a youngster, I used to have a notebook, and the title of it was, everything is in this notebook.
Yep.
I can't say it. It doesn't do justice, the translation in English, because I'm Hungarian, and I put that in Hungarian in that notebook. Everybody laughed. What is this?
Right.
Everything is in there, all different kinds of things.
I'm Polish, so I'm Polish and Lebanese.
Landsman.
Yeah.
That's what they used to call it.
Landsman.
Landsman. Well, that's a German word. Lands, that means nation or land, and man is man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But you were born here.
Yes, I was born here.
Of course.
Yeah, and my parents were born here as well.
Well, I'm an immigrant. They used to call me greenhorn.
Ah.
Did you ever hear that expression?
No, I haven't.
No. Why, you see, you learn all sorts of things. Yeah. So I was talking to your, Chris, he's your manager.
Chris works with me, yes.
Works for you. and he told me that you're going to do a lot of plays, and he knows how to go about it, get everybody together.
Sure.
How do you feel about that?
I think it's great. Again, the studio's built. We have tables, chairs, staging. We have everything, lights, grid work. We have all of it that I own. So it makes our ability to do things pretty easy. And we're open for any sort of concept, or whether it's a play, get together, movie, production, whatever.
So how many hours would you say you spend in the studio working?
Well, all of my businesses are intertwined.
Yes.
So I right now, between the charities that I work on and my different businesses, I've got 20 different businesses that I'm involved with. So it's, some days
So you
it's
need
more
a
than others.
secretary, don't you?
I have a couple of people that help me out.
How many people work for you?
It's seasonal, but right now we have about 9, and then it ramps up to about 15, 16 during the peak
You're talking
season.
about just in the studio?
Full-time. No, between all of my businesses.
Well, that's not many.
No, it's not many.
Because in each hotel you need a.
Just 1 or 2. They're small.
So you need like at least a manager?
Yeah, a manager at each property, and then I have office staff that rotates, because we're open pretty much morning to evening in the main
And the
office.
cleaning person
people that do all
also
of it.
rotates?
Yeah. We rotate
Ah.
everybody. And, when we do a big production, we'll ramp up to 100, 200, 300 people, but it's not what I have full-time. My core people are
Yes,
just a
that's
handful.
part-time.
Yes. Yeah. So I have it pretty easy.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you're working hard.
Hopefully working smart.
Yeah, I guess. So maybe you should teach this more to people, how to do that, because you're very successful in such a short time. You're a baby yet.
Well, I'm 83 years old. I'm not a dad.
Oh, you're older than I am.
Yeah, see? It's just the
Yeah.
lighting in here. I made sure I
Yeah.
took the seat with the good
Yeah.
lighting.
Yes. Well, do you like to teach?
Yes. I think that's what I've done, and it's what I'll continue to do for a long time. I think that's really is. And also, I do a lot of stuff for charity. It's really a passion of mine. I spend a lot of time and energy and money doing charity work. And I'll
Well,
continue doing
is there such a thing as a favorite charity?
I'm fond of working with children, kids, those sorts of things, just because I think that it's tough, and I see it with my boys. They make mistakes. They need that positive influence. They need to know that, it is tough. I grew up really poor in inner city Detroit without not much guidance, and I think that really pushes me to kind of help and be at least somebody that gives back in that model, in that role. And, I do the best I can. I'm far from perfect. My kids make mistakes all the time. But,
Well,
at least
that's fine, because I am perfect.
I know.
I don't know.
That's why I'm here.
Well, I also love children because I feel the future lies with the children.
I agree.
And I love to spend time with children.
Yeah. And I also think that it's kids they're not stuck in a box yet. So it helps do some creative thinking outside of it. And that helps me kind of focus on what I'm doing. Sometimes I get in a rut, and I also did some stand-up improv at Second City. So that's sort
I
of
did
training.
that once.
And what'd you think? Did you like it?
Well, it was fun. It's not something I wanted to do, but I just had to do it just
Sure.
once.
Yeah. I did it for about 4 years out of Detroit.
Oh, my gosh.
So, and that helps kind of get your mind out of the same old routine, not doing the same thing over and over and over again. So it's a refreshing look at life. And I think as far as me being in business, that's one of the most important things I ever did is do stand-up improv, because it forces you out of a comfort zone. It forces you to rethink, everything. And it tells you to go left instead of going right. And, you kind of train yourself. And when you're in business and when you have, basically everyone has the same stuff. There's very few new ideas or new concepts. And when you have the ability of actually thinking or approaching it a little differently, I think that's when you get those aha moments. So,
I like aha moments.
yes.
So when you did that, who wrote your material?
I did some of it. I worked with a handful of people that I'd worked with for years. And, we wrote some, we collaborated on some, we took some other stuff that was already written and done for Second City, or else we would do some serious stuff that we would convert over to improv, which had some fun. But a lot of it is just training. A lot of it is just doing different lessons and building up on those, and again, retraining your brain and retraining the way you think.
So you think that kind of thing is helpful for little
everybody.
children?
It's for everybody.
Yeah.
I think there's little children in all of us, so I think it's good for everyone.
So true.
Yes.
So true.
Yeah.
And I also find that with kids, they're so different. So when you said you're going to teach them, you cannot teach everybody like the same way. Everybody have like a different conception of what you're saying.
Yeah, but I think, at least for me, I
understanding.
try and I know a handful of things, very well, and I try and instill those. Now, how I instill them is completely different, but, the same handful of things apply in life. Be a good person, be respectful, good work ethic, those sorts of things. And learn to love and learn to accept. And so if you have those handful of things and how we apply them and how we teach them, are definitely different for each one of the kids.
That's true. Do you also work out? You're in good shape?
Yeah, I try to, not as much. I actually just finished a fast. I did a 5-day fast, a juice fast.
Did you?
Yes, it was great. And so, it's all these things that I keep pushing myself with. But I did a bunch of triathlons. I did a couple of Ironman. That's when you...
Do you do push-ups too?
I do some push-ups and sit-ups. And,
You are
yeah.
amazing.
Well...
I thought I was making a joke, but you did it.
Yeah, no, I do a couple of them here and there.
How do you do that, what you just did, 5-day liquid?
Yeah. There's a company called Juicy Nam out of Sag Harbor, but there's a lot of organic, all-natural places. They basically take a bunch of organic vegetables, they put it into juice, and that's all you drink all day.
How do you do it? Did you do it with a bunch of people?
Just
or
by
just
myself.
How did you, that needs discipline.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what, the first day and
What
first and
made
second
you
day.
decide to do that?
Well, it's a cleansing process that I wanted to do, and
I'd love
I
to
like
do it.
testing myself.
Oh.
I like doing different things to test myself and my abilities, and it's a relatively innocent way of doing it. So, and now I'm back on Coca-Cola and chocolate bars. So, it didn't take me long to get back on it.
Well, it must have been hard. A lot of discipline for that.
It really isn't that hard. Again, most of the stuff that you do is 99% of life is mental. If you wake up in the morning happy and you go to bed as happy as you can be, that's all you can really ask for.
Were you drinking all day?
Yeah, you're drinking and going to the bathroom all day. That's all you do. A lot of liquids.
So how many different juices?
They make about 5 different juices, and then you've got some herbal teas and some water. And after the second day, kind of get a rhythm to it. I had some important meetings, so I stopped. But next time I'll do it for 2 or 3 weeks, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So I'm going to give you a title, The Wonder Boy of the Hamptons.
No, I just wake up every morning and try, do the best I can.
Well, you're very modest, which is also nice, a nice feature about you.
Well, thank you. I've been fortunate. I've got, I'm healthy. My children are healthy, and I've got some good family and friends around me that make a difference in life. And you just wake up and do the best you can.
And where do you live now?
I live in Southampton by the hospital.
Oh.
Yep.
I thought you were going to say I live right next door to my studio.
Oh no, I spend enough time in the studio. So no, I live in Southampton, and
so you commute.
Yeah. Well, out here it's considered commuting because it's from
Yes.
Southampton to Wainscott. It's 7 miles, and everyone, oh my gosh, I can't believe you drive all that way. But
well, during the summer it's a problem.
Not really. You pick and choose when you drive, and you have the back roads, and it can
yeah.
take you an hour in the city to drive 2 blocks.
I hate to drive in the city. I don't want to.
Everything's relative. So you turn up the music.
Oh, you know my relatives. You said everything is
relative. Yes. Yes, I do know your relatives. So.
Yes. Well, that's a funny thing about that saying, everything is relative. I used to learn electrolysis. And then we used to say everything, does it hurt? Well, just everything is relative.
Yeah.
And you know how my relatives are.
Yeah.
I used to say
Yeah.
that.
Like when I was in Peru, I went to the jungle, and I literally lived in a grass hut in the middle of jungle, no electricity, no power, nothing. And there's 250 people. They live on dirt floors. That's how they live. That they know nothing else but that, and that's all they've ever known. So when you go home to your heat and your air conditioners
Yes.
and those sorts of things. So again, it's everything is relative. I mean,
Everything
it's-
is, yes, I remember because where I was born, I mean, there were no cars, no telephones, and so I know how things are. So when people here are complaining with all the luxury they have, I just can't understand it.
Yeah, I like to complain. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not immune to complaining, but
Who's listening?
Yeah,
when you
nobody,
No.
nobody. Yeah, so
Well, that's good, but you could complain to me.
thank you.
I'm a good listener.
Good, good.
It's not that I can fix everything,
Right.
but I try,
Yes.
and that's a big mistake.
Well, the word is in therapy is acknowledge. You can acknowledge what someone's feeling.
Yes.
Yes. Whether you
And
agree with it or
that's-
disagree with it, but you can acknowledge how they
Acknowledge.
feel
Yes.
and then take it from there.
Now, when you're going to get a DVD of this, you could send it all over the world,
Yes.
and then everybody will know about us.
Perfect. I'll do that. We'll put it on the internet. We'll push it everywhere.
Every place.
Yes.
Well, it's been such a pleasure
Thank you.
having you as a playmate
I
in my hot
appreciate it.
seat.
Yes. Yes.
And it's
Anytime.
been wonderful, and I learned so much about you, and you are amazing.
You're amazing. Thank you for having me. All righty.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Love me